Welcome to the Random Green / Gordon Miller podcast. On today's podcast, I wanted to talk to you individuals about Hollywood. Now, I'm not talking about the politics of Hollywood. Maybe I can do that for a different time, and maybe I will add that in there. But let's just talk about the remakes for a change. The remakes, as you know, if you you'd have to be the most stubborn person in the world if you don't admit that there's remakes. Hollywood does a lot of remakes, a plethora of remakes, especially the main ones, the main movies out there. Like, Beetlejuice, which I kind of want to see. It's a remake from the 1988 one with Michael Keaton. I believe Michael Keaton is in the one in the 2024 one, the Beetlejuice. And now there's Gladiator 2 coming out. And then there was another one before that, and I really don't remember because it's hard to keep track of all the remakes they do. But again, they have some unique ways of, kind of unique ways, not really, of saying a remake like Beetlejuice. Yeah, it's like Beetlejuice 2. It's just, and I'm sure these movies are going to be good, of course, and usually they do come up. The remakes that they make are pretty good. But I just think why I want to get behind the why. Why is the remakes being done in Hollywood? And could it be, now this is just, there's no substantial evidence when it comes to this. That's not what this is about. This podcast is just about my thoughts and opinions and a podcast about the remakes in Hollywood. Because, again, you'd have to be the most stubborn person in the world to not think that any remakes are not happening. You'd have to be almost delusional. So I just want to be clear on that. I mean, there's remakes going on. But why is it? Perhaps it's because the spitefulness of it, because everybody goes up to somebody in Hollywood and says, look, you guys are making way too many remakes. And I've said it in prior podcasts, prior videos, probably shorts and live streams or whatever, maybe not live streams, whatever. I said that there's too many remakes in Hollywood. There's too many remake movies. And now shows, like the TV shows they're coming out, it's crazy. Matlock, really? With Jessica Bates? I'm sure it's a good show. But couldn't you just say something different? It would just be another lawyer show? But they had to call it Matlock. They can't come up with their own ideas with these titles. Sometimes, like I say, when they do remakes, which they always do, they can't even come up with a new. And this has been going on a while now. It's been going on 10, 15 years, remakes. Maybe longer. And there's always been sequels. There's always been that, and always will be, and that's fine. But if you do something like, for example, make Beetlejuice 36 years later, because the first one came out in 1988 and this one's 2024. I kind of question that. What is the main issue? What is it really boil down to? Is it spitefulness? Or is it nostalgia? Or a little bit of both? Because I think it's probably a little bit of both, but also it's probably spite because people keep on saying, well, you're doing a lot of remakes, and when someone tells somebody something, when someone says, well, this is what you have to think at all times, and this is what you have to do, you're going to do the exact opposite, just out of rebellion. Maybe not even a rebellion, but just to be different. to stand out. I mean, to be, but they're not doing anything different. They're doing remakes. So I mean, you think about it, you know, eventually, uh, people just probably will get used to it, and they won't say anything about doing remakes. They don't, because they're so used to Hollywood doing remakes. They'll stop saying you're doing remakes, and they'll stop telling the producers and directors and actors and writers that you're doing too many remakes. They'll just say okay, they're not going to say nothing, and then then they'll start coming up with new stuff. Now, I'm not saying you have to come up with a brand new genre of something like a new invention of a new sci-fi or a new with AI. Of course, you can always do a thing, but I also wanted to touch base upon why in the world can't people in Hollywood have an opinion when it comes to the politics? For example, if someone voices support for Trump, oh boy, that's a sin. That's a Hollywood sin, or that's a big mistake, and that is really not good. It's stupid. Like, really, you can't have an opinion. You can't have support for them because they're worried about being canceled. Now, who's the party of extremes? Now, there's things that are like I say that are uh, liberal about me, of course, but you can't even voice your opinion about uh, supporting Trump. Maybe that's why they do remakes, because they're so focused on politics that they can't come up with anything else, because they're on Twitter, they're on or X, on social media, on Reddit, and all these social media sites, and they just don't know what else to do, so they just do remakes, and then half the other time they're just going to be concerned about what politics. I mean, you know, this is, everybody should be able to have the right to say who they're going to vote for, or who they voted for, without fear of reprisal from the Hollywood elitist. You think about it, it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, I know on my channel, my YouTube channel, it'll never grow to be something major. It's never going to grow to be something big. And I've probably voted. I've well, yeah, I have. I voted, but I have for Trump. So if you want to unsubscribe, I've said stuff political. So, if you wanted to unsubscribe from me for saying this, and there's people that I've had, but also I made like I say, and I'm not turning it into it's all about me. It's or anything, and I'm being random in different directions. I know, I apologize, but sorry, not sorry. I've probably said something about stuff on the conservative side that have people leave because I'm not 100% either way. I think that's the beauty of uh, of of being a person, is you can have different opinions and you don't have to be categorized. Like, well, you have to think this way. You have to think this exact same way. Like when it comes to pro-choice or pro-life and all that. You know, at the end of the day, you think about it, like me losing subscribers and stuff, or not having a lot, it takes the weight off me, like be monetized. So, and that's what the point I wanted to make about was the fact that, you know, if I lose support or if I lose subscribers, really, I mean, it's much easier if I do something versus, say, somebody in Hollywood, because you look at the individuals like Kevin Sorbo, which he's a hell of an actor. I like Kevin Sorbo. I don't agree with him everything politically, but I do agree with him a lot. You know, and I think there's a beauty of having an opinion, but it just seems that where Hollywood does things out of spite. They do things out of spite just because it's like you could use reverse psychology with them, and then they would stop doing remakes. It's like you could go. That's the type of people that are running Hollywood. That's what makes me so mad about it. Everything's political, and it's just not good. That's my opinion. And I'm not saying all Hollywood. I think a lot of the ones are. I think there's a lot of individuals in Hollywood that are probably independent, maybe not far left or far right, but they want to see some politician in there, some politician in there that they shouldn't be. You can't have it thought. You can, it's thought crime. Well, God, if you're going to be uh, thinking a certain way, then I think that's what Hollywood. Uh, I think that's what Hollywood is doing now. Is they can't come up with any ideas because they're so busy on what they're so involved in politics. The elitist, and there's some individuals that are on the fence. They're too afraid to probably even vote a certain way because they'll get found out. So it's really sad in this world, and with Hollywood, and they're it's just it's I don't know. It's so frustrating, these remakes too, and they can't be a certain way. And these, like I say, Hollywood is spiteful, and this world is really really spiteful from both sides. I'm not just I mean you can't sit there and say the whole thing is as much as I don't want to talk politics, I end up talking about politics. But not all my there's one channel. I have 3 channels on YouTube: Gordon Miller, Random Green TV, and Variety Gaming. Now, Variety Gaming, I keep it strictly gaming, so I'm not going to ever do anything political on that. I'm almost guaranteed. Yeah. In fact, I'm probably worried about if I said anything in my prior videos about politics, which it's all gaming anyway. And it's just unfortunate how the world is in Hollywood. It's everything's just out of spite, and that's why I think there's so many remakes from Hollywood. Anyway, that is pretty much it. I know it's a lot of rambling on and stuff. So anyway, thank you very much for listening / watching this podcast. Alrighty, thank you.